Hi, Mom. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm Flame Flash. You're on episode 26 of the FlameFlash.net podcast. And the reason I did that wave real fast is because, first things first, Mom, or anybody else who cares, set your clock. Had a question directly from Mom. Show, date, and time. If you're listening to the podcast recording, the non-video portion of it, I apologize right now profusely. I'll be over in just a second. Show date and time in menu bar. You sent me a screenshot. It's unchecked. Check it. See how all of that stuff pops up? When it does, you get a clock up here. When it's not checked, you don't have a clock up here in the corner. So that's what's going on, Mom. Please just check this box right there. Anyway, as I mentioned moments ago, I'm Flame Flash of FlameFlash.net, and this is episode 26 of the FlameFlash.net podcast. So let's get started with the Raptor Report. World of Warcraft. Going to go a little bit out of order this time. World of Warcraft is probably the most played this last week, and Son and I are almost level 79. We are almost to the Wrath level cap. He is very much looking forward to finally entering Cataclysm content, and he's really excited. Leveling through both Burning Crusade and Wrath has been more enjoyable because I've had somebody going with me who it's all new to. So everything's fresh. The tournament is fresh. That's what we've been visiting right now, is the Argon tournament. Those dailies, and then doing some instancing on the side for the experience. We're basically done with Wrath. It's kind of sad that Wrath has been relegated to just a leveling tier like Burning Crusade. Actually, Burning Crusade deserves it. But there it is. We won't probably see much of Wrath. He'll possibly go back at some other point. But his warrior and my shaman are almost 79 and ready to move on. Really cool. Very cool. The Sims 3 has released more free downloadable content. This time a Christmas theme. Far too early for a Christmas theme, but it's still there. If you have Sims 3 pets, they also have an IAMS starter set. Yes, you get some branding plastered all over your game a little bit, but you also get free, neat looking items. I hope to add them to my game if/when we get Sims 3 pets. Finally, Magic the Gathering Duel of the Planeswalkers. Pop that back on the PlayStation, and it's as enjoyable as ever. Finally added some more money to my PSN account, so I unlocked all of the decks, all of the new decks from the latest expansion to the game, and worked a little bit more on that. I have the Archenemy campaign left to go on the original game, and then I have both the single player and you as the Archenemy campaigns left to go on the expansion. Not sure if they'll have another expansion out. I kind of expect it. Especially, it would be wise for them to line it up with the next expansion of the card game, which will be coming out in February. And I'm actually following Magic the Gathering, the card game, now. More than I probably have in the past. Thanks to the internet, it helps quite a bit because you can look up what cards are banned in various modes of play. What I play would be termed modern magic. So it's the newer card design, the newer card look. And I found out just today that I have banned cards in my deck. So probably will hopefully go pick up a booster or maybe a core 2012 starter deck or something to flesh out the missing mana, because some of them were artifact lands and those are now banned in modern magic style play. And there were a couple of artifacts that I think I also lose in my blue dark steel deck, which is a very old era of magic, but it still fits into the modern magic motif, so that makes me happy. However, the standard rules, got off on Magic the Gathering, interesting. The standard rules for tournaments are the last two series. So right now we're in 2012. There was also a 2011 last year. I'm not sure why it's like car dealerships as far as the numbering scheme goes, but that's where we are now. And so I would assume when 2013 shows up, 2011 will fall off the grid. This is how they make their money. They standardize the format so that it's predictable, and as some of your cards get outdated, new ones get shuffled in. I don't know if I'll ever actually play competitively, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Random news. The Simpsons arcade game. Remember that game? Hopefully. Anybody? Think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles style brawler, but with the Simpson characters. So Bart's riding around on a skateboard. Homer's simply using his fist. Marge has a vacuum cleaner. Now, I haven't watched The Simpsons in quite a long time. Didn't find them funny anymore. And they're not really as appropriate as I would like. They kind of skirt that edge for the kids. And I have no idea when it's on either. Anyway. It was a fun game. And the Australian video game rating agency, whatever it's officially called, just recently released a rating, which means more than likely it's coming to either the Xbox, the PlayStation 3, or both. Let it be both, please. I will be picking it up on the PlayStation 3. Hopefully. So that's exciting. Other PlayStation 3 release news: we're going to get a Heavy Rain Director's Cut for the PlayStation 3. So this has the one downloadable episode. It has a couple of other extras, to my understanding, maybe some music. I think you get a dynamic theme for the background of your PlayStation 3. And it's going to be worth it. Or go find the original version and get that and use that. But this is a game. This is a console seller game. If you're not familiar with Heavy Rain, if you have a PlayStation 3, go and get it. If you don't have a PlayStation 3, then go get that. Then pick up Heavy Rain as one of your 3 required games to really make the system worthwhile. It's that compelling of a story. This literally is an interactive movie. You play the role of 4 protagonists as they work through trying to figure out who done it. and it unfolds with as many twists, turns, hooks. It's one of the few games in recent memory that Red Flare came downstairs at 5 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday morning and went, "You're still awake? It's M-rated? Play it when the kids are in bed, but then you'll end up playing it all night long. Just go pick it up. Don't look up internet spoilers for it either. Most places I've listened to, most podcasts I've listened to, have done a great job of not revealing anything. And so I'm also not going to reveal anything. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. So, last week, I talked about comics. I think I have enough content this week that I'm probably not going to need comics. But anyway, Marvel is going to go day and date digital now. This is something DC Universe did with the New 52. And day and date digital just means when the floppy comic comes out on store shelves, it also is available for download. Not a bad deal if you read your comics on your iPad or Kindle or some other Android device. So, PlayStation Network. This is your Gemini. Hi, I'm Flame Flash. I'm a Gemini. I'll be flopping around. Anyway, PlayStation Network. Chrono Trigger. It's already on there, right? Well, Chrono Cross, Final Fantasy V, Final Fantasy VI. This is Final Fantasy 2 and 3 if you're a Super Nintendo old school person, are coming. They're coming to the PlayStation Network. If you don't have a backwards compatible PlayStation 3, if you no longer have a PlayStation 2, these are worth grabbing. Play it on your PSP. Not much coming out as far as I know since we have the PlayStation Vita coming out pretty soon. So all developers kind of focused on that instead. Kind of like why the Wii hasn't had a lot of love recently as far as releases go. Because everyone's focusing on the Wii U, developing for the Wii U at this point. Anyway, they're great games. All four of them. Trigger, Cross, 5, and 6. Pick them up. Now, I would have the caveat, go get the Final Fantasy V for either the Wii or the PSP, because there you can get the sequel to Final Fantasy V as well. No, it wasn't a sequel in the sense of Final Fantasy X2, to my understanding. I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet. But from what I hear, it's better. So, it's another Final Fantasy sequel. You can get the complete series on your PSP of Final Fantasy V. And Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, a couple of great games that you really shouldn't miss out on. If you were, say, of a generation that wasn't the original PlayStation and was instead the PlayStation 2. Go pick them up. Download them. I'm going to hop over to the PlayStation Home now. And a game called Sodium 1. That's right. PlayStation Home game. So, recently, I guess, or who knows how recently, Sony's PlayStation Home system, which was recently retooled, but now has mini games inside of it. It's its own social gaming platform. It's not just you walking around in a fake avatar talking to people. You can go and play games, solo and multiplayer. Sodium 1 is solo. It's kind of your old school tank shooter game. So you are the tank, you are getting upgrades out on the battlefield, and you're going around shooting other tanks. I really liked it. For $5, it's actually kind of tempting. You can go buy a sub for that much, but from Subway, cold cut combo. Feel free to send along. But it was fun. I think I went up to level 5 and then the demo stops. There is a demo, so go check it out. It's in the PlayStation Home. I believe it has its own space, as they call it. So just search for that and head in that route. I found it through light exploration, and I'd like to save you that trouble. So, going to hop over to World of Warcraft a little bit. There was, for instance, a developer question and answer session today, Wednesday, November 9th, 2011. And they didn't have too much new information there. A bunch of, we'd like to do this, we coulda, shoulda, woulda, and other neat and good ideas, but it certainly doesn't sound like we're going to get Mists of Pandaria anytime soon. We're probably looking at a year out. Speaking of releases, then I'll hop back over to the Q&A. The Season 10, the PvP Season 10, has been announced to be ending as soon as November 15th. Now, I kind of expect 4.3, the Deathwing patch, to hit November 29th. At least if Blizzard is as smart as I feel they are. Now, that's because, well, we don't want to push a patch out the same week as a national holiday. I wouldn't think, at least. And Thanksgiving lands on the week of the 22nd. I'm counting with Tuesdays. So the week of the 29th is really the only option before you start getting into the holiday buying sales, and you don't want to get too much bad press this late in the game for holiday sales. So, end PvP Season 10 on the 15th. Give them a week to sort out the prizes. And then on the 29th, bam, we'll see 4.3. That is the flameflash.net prediction right there. Anyway, Warlocks. From the Q&A, skimmed over it, Warlocks and Warlock news was what I was most excited about. Because pets will become utility, less must use. So if you're a Demonology Warlock, you can use your Felguard, your Succubus, whatever you'd like to use. If you're a Destruction Warlock, you're not stuck with the stupid Imp. Or if you're an Affliction Warlock, you're not going to be stuck with the Fell Hunter. Strategically, it might be wise to be using the Imp or the Felguard or the Fell Hunter or whoever else, whenever else. But it's going to become more strategic choice. Just like the new talent system will become choice. So, besides for Deathwing coming and Warlock discussion, in 4.3, holiday pets are going to no longer be soulbound. So if for some reason you haven't cleaned out your bags yet, stop. Stop right now. Don't touch those sinister squashlings that you got a couple of weeks ago from the Hallows End festival. Because those sinister squashlings are going to be able to be tossed onto the auction house. I got screwed. I had probably about 20 of these little buggers. And I tossed them every time because the character already had it. I filed a ticket. they gave me one back. I appreciate your hasty response, Blizzard, but please read my ticket and reply to it the way I wrote it. Because how I wrote it, I didn't say I was only missing one Sinister Squashling. And had their customer service rep who helped me out looked at my character, they would have seen I already knew the Sinister Squashling. So I was clearly wanting my lost old backpile or backlog. Lack of words is never good. So, the 4.3 background downloader has started, by the way. Hopefully you've noticed that and allowed your firewalls to help out your fellow peers on the Blizzard peer-to-peer network. Helps them distribute the patch that way. And then we have the fact that I met Deathwing and lived. Kind of. Not really. Right now, Deathwing flies around. He's, the big bad of Cataclysm. He flies around and breathes fire on entire zones. I was lucky enough to meet him in Oldham. And if you check my Steam profile, I was having fun posting pictures of me bowling over gnomes. But there was Deathwing. And I got the achievement for standing in the fire of Deathwing. Because there's not really anywhere else you can go in those situations. It's either, run away and not get away, or stand and die. I landed and died. I had been in the air. Alchemy specialization is also changing for 4.3. Now, if you're not familiar with what alchemy specialization is, and you're an alchemist, shame on you. The rest of you, it's okay. Don't worry about it. But the specializations are moving to the home base cities. So Stormwind and Orgrimmar are going to get your specialization trainers. And it's going to simplify. I am still glad that I got the Burning Crusade era. Because while it sounds neat, they do want Cataclysm level herbs and other things for getting your specialization. So how about this random tidbit? LEGO Universe is getting shut down. This is LEGO's MMO, and they just didn't have enough people. And not enough people were logging in, were saying, yes, I want to play, but never pay. Now, LEGO Universe is one of those MMOs that decided it would be a wise idea to try to drum up more business and try to have more people buy things than the monthly subscription was letting them do, was to go free to play. But these are younger kids, I would think, for the most part, so they're not getting that benefit. They're just not. It's a shame. But I guess that's the way the Lego building crumbles. So Lego Universe is going down the 31st of January of next year. I really wish everyone who worked on the project good luck, especially if you've lost your job after Lego Universe. So, let's switch over to some lawsuits. Spiderman has been sued. Spiderman, the Broadway musical, has been sued. The co-author went and said, I want my cut, basically. If her stuff's still all over the script and everything else, then I think she deserves it. Even if she was dismissed, it was her writing. It was her writing that was suddenly lost for being ostracized. Now, I can't say one way or the other if they were in the right for getting rid of her in the first place, but they should have at least paid her once her script, co-authored, was used, finally, and used successfully in a night. Apple is also being sued in Germany to not sell iDevices. Apple doesn't seem overly concerned, or maybe I'm just not reading the right Slashdot articles, but we're all okay and nothing really major happened. Especially yesterday, except for that, asteroid near miss in astronomy terms, flying right past. But we survived. And hopefully net neutrality will survive thanks to President Obama, who has pledged that if the back pocket senators and House members say yes, it'll get vetoed. Now, what the law is actually doing is it's chewing out the FCC for how they're handling things right now. Well, you can clearly see that lobbyists are heavily at work. Or else, why? Why break it up? Oh well. Hopefully, the right thing will happen and we'll be all right. Or at least the internet will be all right. But I'm Flame Flash. I'm Flame Flash all over the place. PlayStation Network, Twitter, Facebook has a fan page for the show. Podcast at flameflash.net if you want to send something in. I do respond. I do respond to you in the chat room, which is running, so feel free to stop by. Lots of Q&A stuff to have read through, so that's why I'm a little bit later than usual. But that's it for episode 26 in this week. So, this is Flame Flash of flameflash.net, signing off.